So why use graphical applications with Windows Forms to make repeated tasks easier, to make repeated tasks faster, to make them more accurate? That's a huge thing. I don't know how many, if you've manually created users, have you forgotten to add a security group and had to do it later, you know? These kinds of tools solve that, and they're great for your technical staff or yourself to use just to do this stuff right every time, or to do it just quicker, you know? I pull up this app, I can make a user, or check on stuff, you know? You could build an app that just lists all the users that are locked out and have an unlock button. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff we could do. The stuff I'm doing here, I'm like, I don't even know if it's going to be useful. You know, I think the AD stuff is, but you guys probably have like the print spooler thing you shared earlier. That could be a button. You know, that would be awesome. You know, if you could list all your computers that you have in AD and reset their print spooler remotely, that's the kind of thing. And yeah, like I said, too portable for technical staff, so it's great. So what we're going to do is go over Windows Forms. And Windows Forms, it's actually it's a C# class, it's a .NET class that enables you to build graphical applications. And so a UI framework for building desktop apps. It provides one of the most productive ways to create desktop apps based on Visual Designer provided in Visual Studio. I'm not going to be using Visual Studio. Functionality such as drag and drop replacement of visual controls makes it easy to build desktop apps. So that's kind of like what a real basic app would look like there. You know, you're just getting in and you're making buttons and start interacting with them, having them do stuff. So, man, I saw somebody's presentation they had, they're talking a lot about Windows Presentation Foundation. That's a different UI framework. You could definitely use that. It does use, what is it? It's like XML. It's extensible markup language stuff. It's a little heavier. I think that's more for building like an actual like exe application. I'm talking about from the sysadmin point of view, the sysadmin world. I like PowerShell. I like just making quick, simple stuff, and I think Windows Forms works. WPF definitely works. Actually, poshgui.com, what we'll be using, it uses, you can make WPF stuff with it too, but we're going to do Windows Forms. By all means, research that though too. If you're going to make something you really want to ship. Actually, how many people use a WinWitch by Donna Ryan? Yep, 2, 3. Yeah, that was made with WPF. You can tell. If you ever looked under the hood on that script, it's great. It's for modifying WIM files for deployment with Config Manager and WDS or whatever you're using for that. So, just want to bring that up. I saw a meme because somebody was like, you know, the guy with the girlfriend, and he's looking at the other girl. Well, the other girl was WPF, and his girlfriend was Windows Forms. And I was like, man, okay, whatever. I'm doing Windows Forms anyway. So, .NET class. Like I said, UI scalability, better security features. You know, it's not just a code. You wind up compiling it, I believe. To be honest, I haven't even made one, so gotta bring it up. And why Windows Forms? Simplicity of design, simplicity of coding. Likely all familiar with PowerShell. It's just PowerShell. You know, you hop into it, it's great. So there is PowerShell Pro Tools. This is another tool. I have this. You can do a lot of cool stuff. It's more than just the GUI stuff. It's from Iron Man Software. It's $10 a month. Automates like all the stuff listed here. I'm gonna go through it, but that's a really valuable tool, and it's an extension for Visual Studio Code. How many people use Visual Studio Code? Yay! I still love the old ISE, but you know, Visual Studio Code's nice too. So what we're going to use is poshgui.com. Like I said, does WPF, WinForms Designer. I haven't done that commandlet builder yet. That's pretty sweet. And it's just got a code editor. It's $7 a month. Throw it on my IT bills that are so popular in my house. So let's go over just, I'm going to run through these, just like the simple PowerShell commands. I put these in the slides so you can copy and paste them or whatever if you want to use them. So this is how simple it is to actually just build a blank Windows form. And actually, let's just exit it. I'll show you guys. And well, even though I was just talking about Visual Studio Code, I'm just going to use ISE. leg. There it is. Wow. All right, I'm done. You guys know how to do it now. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Yep, that's how simple it is to get it going, right? So you're using the, you're adding the type, which is the assembly for this. This is the .NET class you're adding, and now you have the ability to make these objects and have them be rendered here at the end with the show dialog method. This enable visual styles, this is something that's real popular. Posh GUI will put this in automatically because it standardizes the visual styles, because a lot of times you'll see the code is different in editors or maybe different from place to place. This is just kind of like a standardization for the visual styles. So, all right, let's get back. It's that simple. There it is. All right, so one of the most common things we'll be using is labels. It's just a simple text. I mean, you can add events to it, but it's just kind of like something you'd put ahead of a text box, you know, and we'll just see one right here. There it is, first name label. So this is how you mark up any of the objects that you wind up building into Windows Forms. And I have this bolded here. This form.controls.add range. This is what adds it to be initialized when the show dialog happens. So Posh GUI is great because it creates all this stuff for you. It does all this, I mean, I love it. You know, it's web-based. So you can change the fonts, and we'll get into that in a second. So there's your label. And then now we have a text box. And notice again to the add range, it's adding the next object that's to be rendered when the show dialog is invoked. And you'll see the different attributes here, and there's probably more. So let's keep going. There it is. Submit button. All right, this is a button control, pretty straightforward.
So I'm curious, when you're making each of those elements start to render there, are you building the padding in, or does it build the padding in between those?
Yeah, I'm building it. I'm like dragging and dropping the stuff. So we'll do that. Like I said, I'm just going through a few of these, so I'll show that. But yeah, it auto does all that stuff. Sometimes there are issues, like if you have a label too close to a text box and you actually run it, it's like, oh, it's like going over it a little bit, you know? So yeah, you do kind of have to watch that stuff yourself, but the editor does take pretty good care of it. Checkbox, you don't need to keep going too hard on this. The combo box. A picture box, throw pictures in there. All right, we'll go into this later, but this is the show hide console. I threw this in here because this is kind of like one of the things that makes it like really good, but it's like kind of buttoning it up and making it feel more like an application. So when you actually run these PowerShell scripts, the console's still open in the background, and this will actually hide it, so it just looks like a Windows application. Because if you're giving this to like a help desk staff, right, you know, that may throw them off. You know, there's stuff flying by. You see the commands you're running, you know, get ADUs or whatever in the background, so you might be good to hide it. Or you could show it, you know, if you like that diagnostic information. And then there's the show console as well. And so that, again, I found this online, and it's been great whenever I've used it. And then you can invoke this whenever you want. So you could actually, if you had a button click event, you could hide the show the console, hide the console just for while you're doing it. And if you were trying to like troubleshoot something, you needed to see the output of the PowerShell. Another thing is the one-click run script. So when you try to run these, you often are doing things that need administrative privileges, right? So when you make this, you want to make your own custom shortcut so it runs. So the way you do that is right here. Just paste this in here. You're actually running the exe and specifying the file and the script to run. And then you edit the shortcut to run as administrator. So that way, it's just double click, it's running. You can do what you need to do, assuming the person's got the right privileges, right? So let's get into the demo stuff. Hopefully that didn't take too long. Oh, no, it did. Dang. All right. So we go to poshgui.com. It'd be so horrible if they had an outage or something today. All right. Go to my projects, and I'm going to go make a new project here. And we'll make a new win form. And the first one I wanted to make is just an add user script. Now I've actually made this, I've got one of these that's in production, still at Niles Public Schools, and I made a really complicated one for the credit union, and they're still using that as well. Just standardized stuff, made stuff so much easier. So when you get in here, you've got your blank form. You notice over here you've got properties. You can go through, name the form. I like to go through and do as much of this as I can in PoshGUI, and I ship it all out once I got all my UI stuff done, and I make it all in ISE Visual Studio Code. So go ahead and change the form. We'll just call it add user form. This is the actual form object that you see right there. And this is the title right there, so we'll do add, I'll just call it add user. No, I'm thinking just a staff user. And see, there's other stuff in here too. You can specify an image. I'm not going to go ahead and do that, and there's tooltips. You'll see all the different things you have over here. Like I said, I didn't go through all of them. I kind of just went through like the most common ones that I use. So that's it for that form. Now I'll go ahead and drag and drop a label. And this will be first name label. Again, you can name this stuff however you want. You don't even have to name these. It just looks a little cleaner if you're going through the code and you're troubleshooting it. So first name label, and we'll go down here, put the text in. Cool. All right, put that up there. All right, now let's go and add our text box for first name. Over there. Sweet. And we'll just take a break here and let's see what the output looks like. See, now it's gone ahead and it's made all this stuff for you. So, I mean, it's just a great tool to not have to mess with this too hard. So go back. You see there too, you can download the PS1, you can download the text, copy it. PoshGUI too, you can actually make this, so I made it a private. If I'm making stuff for whoever I work for, I tend to make it private. And honestly too, when I pull this stuff out, I don't, like I said, I'm largely just building the GUI in here. I don't put like anything sensitive because, I don't know, who knows who owns this anyway, right? So I've never got my credit card stolen, paying them, that's good. All right, actually, let's not do that. So this works too. You can click and drag and select stuff. And the simplest way for me to do this is I need my last name stuff. I'll just go ahead and duplicate right here. And now I've got that. I like Posh too because it's got the grid. And I don't think PowerShell Pro Tools had a grid, which is kind of annoying, but not a huge deal. Sweet. All right. So most users, like the one I made for River Valley that we use now, these simple staff ad scripts, you know, all I really need to know is like what building they're in. And I need to know what department they're in. So I'm going to throw 2 combo boxes out here. And make those wider. Did I name all these? No, I don't think I did.
Have you used PowerShell Pro Tools?
Yeah, I've used it. I do have it. It's pretty sweet. I mean, this is just a little easier. I don't know.
Looks like they have a perpetual license instead of a monthly subscription. So
Oh, really?
it's a little more attractive.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even, unless I'm building this stuff, I don't even keep the subscription up on Posh GUI. I renewed it for this conference and when I was prepping everything, but I just haven't. It's not like I'm saying, right?
I
Yeah.
get that.
We're not making GUIs too often, but yeah, no, definitely perpetual license is good. So let's go ahead and do building. And bless you. Department. Cool. Could set default values here, which I guess I will do that. So that's how you would use, you know, because we're going to be grabbing this value when we start making the button logic, right? So I'll just do MHS, make that default. And I think mine that I use is teachers, because we're adding teachers so often, I guess. Teacher turnover, I don't know. All right, then we'll go ahead and do the button. Cool. And go ahead and make this form smaller. Now, the button, a whole piece of this I have not touched yet is the events. So can't see it. Zoom out here. There's the events. That's horrible, but it's kind of small. So over here, there's all kinds of events. I only really use click. That's all I need for the most part on these definitely these ones that are real simple. So just go ahead and make a click event. Now if we go over to our details, or no, our output, we'll see it's added the click event down here. And in here is where we can do the logic, where we start interacting with these other form elements. So, like I said, I normally just pull all this stuff out. And, oh jeez, hang on 1 second. Secret keys might be other places from my other presentation. AWS keys. Awesome. Those are done. All right, yeah, so I just snagged this laptop in my server room because I had a MacBook, and I was like, I'm not presenting on PowerShell with a freaking MacBook. So, lose all respect. Anyway, nothing against Mac, I'm just not doing PowerShell on MacBook, even though I know you can get it on Mac now. All right, so I don't have the PowerShell extension, which it's prompting me to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that. It's great. This is free from Microsoft. Just has some enhancements to Visual Studio Code. So that's installing. And oh, I have to maximize this. Let's see.
Control and mouse wheel should zoom, I think. Or it'll change font size.
Control plus or control minus.
That's what it is.
All right, that's good. And I don't want the terminal on that. All right, cool. That's a little bit better. So sweet. We've got our form. We've got our click button. Now what we need to do is snag the values out of those. Well, we need to do that, but we need to actually make the rest of our options for these combo boxes, and then we will get those values out, and I've got a whole test domain controller, test school district to start creating these users. Because one time I made a test user when I was doing this at a school district, and then somebody asked me why Frodo Baggins was listed on the middle school staff website. And I was like, oh, that was me. And they're like, yeah, we figured it was you. My bad. So test environments are great. Yeah, so let me... I'm going to go in here. I can't remember how to do this. With the combo box.
And what Jim is showing you here, it's okay to forget and go look at your old scripts.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, I'm not going to try to like have all these things memorized. You know, it's just you can't. I mean, you could. I don't know. So yeah, and I'm remembering some other stuff too. Looking at this, so that's good. So let's go ahead. Department combo box. Yeah, follow my own naming pattern when I read your stuff. That's great. So we'll do that. Central office. I don't need to do too many of these for this demo, but so these will actually add these to the combo box and do technology, of course. I don't know why I did teachers first, actually. I'm not at the school. Throw athletics in there. Cool. All right, and we'll go up here, we'll do our building. That's simple. There's only 2 other buildings I'm going to add in my fake school district.
You have to remove the void?
No, the void stays. And actually, I don't know why the void stays. So, does anybody else know what the void is? But
I think it stops it from having its output go to the
console.
console.
Gotcha. So maybe we could remove the void. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. You're just adding these items to this attribute of the object, right? So it's not even output the go console, right? Cool. All right.
You want to change the variable.
Oh yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Is it a problem that your default is not one of your items, or does the default become an item?
The default becomes an item because what we're doing is we'll read this dot text in the button.
Okay.
That's the
So you don't have to add that one. Cool.
yep. And we saw that we need to, of course, if you're going to do anything in AD, import the AD module. So go ahead and do that. And I'm typing it, even though it's suggesting me what to do, which is awesome. Cool. We got Active Directory in there. Just double check that's the right. Import module active. Oh, name. name Active Directory. And there's that little hide tool. I'm actually not going to add that here because I want to demo that without it, just so you see what I'm talking about, how annoying it is. All right, sweet. Why did it? All right. So now we just need to read all these values. It seems to be, I don't know exactly what the deal is. Sometimes it's kind of finicky with the text, so I pull the text values out and I put them into separate new variables so I can concatenate them or whatever. And what's nice about this too is, you've got different formats for everything. Ours is first name dot last name is the email, which is public information, I guess. So if you're gonna fish us, there you go. But and then our username is just first initial last name. So you can start pulling that stuff out here in the button logic and just do it. So you're not doing it. And I mistype people's names all the time too, so it's terrible. So just make some variables. First name first. Actually, I'll cheat and do that. First name text box dot seed, and that's nice too. Gosh, I love VS Code. Dot text. That's what I want. Setting that variable there. Last name.
You can call functions from that click box, right?
Yep. Yep, definitely. So yeah, that's what actually in this click box we'll do new AD user right here after we get these variables set and start constructing this. Actually, I'm just going to copy this code since I named it the same way. It may shock you to know I don't have all these AD commands memorized. I just don't. So yeah, and actually when I was testing this to make sure these, so if you see here in the one I use, I'm using other methods. So I'm putting everything down to lowercase, right? Do the two lower. I'm setting the user principal name. This is all stuff that's going to be used in the AD. I could have just done, actually, that's right. This is a better way to do it, the way I did it. This is why I'm doing stuff on the fly like this. I'm trying to crank it out and do it from memory, but there we go. So this is going to give me all of my, all the formatting I need, everything I need to do a new AD user. And I'm not making a river valley user. Almost everything. Because I don't have an OU structure here, so I'll have to get my new OUs in my test environment. So we'll go back to the other code. Yeah. So here's where I'm setting the OUs. So I'm saying, hey, this is where I start evaluating. There's just more and more logic coming in. Hey, if you're an MHS and you're a teacher, I need you in this group. We don't have a lot of groups in River Valley. We have 600 kids. It's not a very complex AD structure. So that's the only group I need my teachers in, really, AD-wise. And then I need you in this OU, right? So we can, I'll just copy this too. I'm going to steal from myself. This is great. So set the OU, because I am going to need the path, right? That's part of my new AD user. Cool. All right. So I'll investigate this and get this correct. In a second, I'm not actually going to build the logic. I'm not going to run that command, but I'm going to look at the host to make sure that all these values are coming out the way I want them, right? As soon as I execute this script. But I will go get it, and we'll get it going. So just adding a user to Active Directory, just new AD user, and adding them to the group. And I was screwing around with progress bars, but I think that's not where, definitely the progress bars are kind of cool. You can have a progress bar where start going and then go away. I wasn't getting it working quite yet. and there's no functional point to it. So I'll go ahead and put that stuff in there, but I'm going to comment it out. All right. So if we go ahead and run this, I'm going to save it. Add MAEDS. And I'm going to want to run PowerShell as administrator. Actually, I don't think I'm not really doing anything yet, so I don't have to. Tab completing my thing. All right. Just do that as. And we'll do a dot slash for the current directory and add MAEDS, and we'll give it a run. Oh, dude. And my system administrator is awesome and has disabled running of scripts on staff devices. So good job, Nathan. So
I can set dash execution. It's really quick to fix that.
I'll just bring it over to the DC and run
Okay.
it. Thank you, though. One of the DCs. Oh, no, that's not a DC. That was just some testing. All right. All right, actually, I'll just right-click and do run with PowerShell. It's not doing anything that needs administrative. Oh, load module. Hey, there it is. Cool. See how the console didn't go away? It's kind of annoying, right? But especially if it's like this gigantic and you have like a little form, it's like, where's all this stuff, you know? If you don't want to overwhelm people. You'll see too that these were populated. And let's go ahead and add Frodo Baggins. And make sure all our stuff is formatted, so I had some of those right hosts in there. So validate too that the click works. Cannot call value with another expression. PS, line 81. Oh, the substring. First initial, given name. Okay. It's all right. Said this is how coding works, right? Oh, test stuff. I would use Visual Studio Code, but this is a Amazon EC2 instance that it's just not the fastest. So Visual Studio Code might be too much for it. It's horrible. Should have changed the execution policy like Matt said.
So what's on line 81 then?
That is a substring. So I'm taking the given name and I'm doing a substring to try to build the first initial.
I think your variable for first name text box has a 1. I think it's first name text box has a 1.
Yeah. Copy paste code isn't always the best idea. Thank you. So if I run it from here, to build the backgrounds. There we go. So I get my feedback, Bill Banks is a teacher, blah, blah, blah. So I'm pulling those values, okay. Those are prepped to be put into the into Active Directory correctly, right? So I don't think, yeah, these groups, I'm not even going to do the groups, but let's just make sure this works. And I'm going to have to do my OUs. And I'm going to create a domain here. Yeah, so we'll do staff, high school. So it'd be MAEDS.org, MAEDS, MHS.
You have to put the .org where you have the INT.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. That's right.
It's so obnoxious.
Right. Okay. MAEDS.org, MAEDS. Is that case sensitive? Do you guys know?
No, but you need the OU equals in front of it.
Thank you. And then MHS. Cool. And actually, this one is going to be, make this MES. NJH. And then we got my MHS up there. So this is actually MES. And yeah, we'll copy and paste. I can set those group variables, like I said, I don't think I'm gonna mess with those. Okay, cool. Yeah, 1 second. I'm gonna hide my super secret default password that you could probably just guess anyway, and make it something. All right, so we're gonna set a default password 2 with this. Do Condor 1. And I think this is good to go. And I do appreciate you guys helping me, because it makes it go faster. Yeah, so we've got this still open, that's the issue. So go ahead and save our changes, give it a run. And we'll go back to Frodo. No. And I did something wrong. Let's go ahead and close that out. Object not found, CN, Frodo, Baggins. Like looking at Matt, I can fix it, Matt.
Do you have the right groups? Have you created the groups before?
I'm not actually adding the group.
Right, I got you.
Yeah. Wait. No, I know what I messed up. This is not, I need to add, I'm missing an OU staff.
Yep.
Man. So MAEDS, so we'll do OU equals staff. Oops. All right, let's give it a go again. Oh my gosh. Oh, the account already exists, so I must have made it. What? So Frodo is out there.
I might dump it into users if the OU is bad.
Yeah. Come on, man. So we'll try to find it. I just turned on the advanced features, which will give me, or maybe I could have seen the OU anyway, probably, right? Whatever. I'll put it into administration. Okay.
You may have already tested it.
I probably did. I probably already made a Frodo backend when I was testing this. Dude, I switched to something other.
Now, could you, like, change the name to Bilbo and hit create user again without recreating the script?
Yeah.
Cool.
Although there might already be a Bilbo, so
You Smeagol.
just do Jim.
Oh.
Sweet. Why is it dumping me in I dumped it here too. This guy can't even do basic Active Directory commands up here. Made it. Okay.
I think it's just a copy paste thing.
Yeah. That's great. This makes users someplace. And the rest is on you. Enjoy your automation. Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Why is he doing that?
Line 92. Your path is MES for MAEDS label.
Yeah.
It did what you told it to do.
I know, you know. That's what's so great about PowerShell. It's a good lesson. It'll do whatever you tell it to do. All right, I have to make a user that goes to the correct group before moving on. So, with the correct OU. So, Matt. As a teacher at MHS. Good times, good times. That's how it's tricky copy and pasting. All right. It's a good lesson. Sweet. So this script, this is basically all mine does, other than add those groups, River Valley. But we are going to expand it. You can run GAN commands. The one at Niles and I think, do you have a GUI on some of your other ones?
Yeah, well, it's not GUI, it's just a ton of if statements.
You
But
can like read line though, right? Console. It's the same idea.
yeah, same idea, it's not GUI. But yeah, GAM
Right.
for Coloma.
Sweet. So let's, I'm going to do that other stuff too, so we can just see a full, build the shortcut, put the hide the console.
I go fire.
What are we on time? We have 10 minutes?
Yeah, you have about 12 minutes.
Sweet, thank you. And I'm going to steal that. So that's kind of annoying, the hide console thing. Having the console there. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to give this to if it's going to freak somebody out to use it like a technician or something like that. Maybe not. I think it's cool. Like I said, it just buttons it up nicely. And move it to my stuff folder. And make a new shortcut. to my slides. Because I copy and pasted that here. Cool. All right. That. We'll go to advanced properties, run that as administrator. And we should, it'll come up at first, have a clean app that just loads. There we go. And you can dump that shortcut. Say if you want to put that in the public folder, it's only people you know, hopefully logging onto your servers. The public users folder, you could have that shortcut go into the desktop automatically, and they have the tool for them. So 10 minutes, you can switch gears. I've been working on one called network diagnostics. I know we often do system stuff with PowerShell, but there's a lot of network stuff too that's pretty cool. I actually built a little script because we use GoGuardian DNS filtering, and it's just a little box just like this. It's a Windows form where I turn on Google DNS so I'm not filtered, and that's pretty handy. But that's also useful for, and Nathan will use it, and it's also useful just for like troubleshooting stuff, right? So let's go back to Posh GUI, and we'll go back to projects, do a new project. Another one I'm working on too is the disk cleaner. I'll probably throw this up on my website or somewhere at some point to do what, just clean common places, get rid of old Windows install files, because I'm sure you guys have a lot of hard drives out there that aren't big enough, right? So it's a common thing I'm running into way too much. So we'll call this one network diagnostics. And actually what I'll do is, a lot of it's just different buttons. And since we only have 9 minutes left, I'm just going to show you the one I've been working on. Just to give an idea of something a little bit bigger. Oh, this may not load either. That's not what I want. Lightning fast Amazon EC2 instances. All right.
The other one's still running.
Oh, yeah, right. Allegedly. open somewhere. There it goes. Wow. Yeah, so this is what I'm working on right now. This will be able to do a bunch of different stuff. I'm not quite there yet, but different, just common things you think about. This will be good to deploy. Test hosts, test connections, trace routes, resolve DNS, loading the adapters. This is a data grid, and you can actually load arrays into this automatically. We can look at the code for that real quick, which is nice, right? Because PowerShell works with objects, arrays, tons of information. Flushing DNS, setting DNS, all this stuff, just to try different things, DHCP. I don't know. I just think that this kind of tool for me is great because I find myself just hopping on and typing it in. Maybe it's a laziness thing, but that's why we use PowerShell, you know? So,
5-minute warning.
5-minute warning, thank you. So I do want to show, no, that's not it. That's my, I just want to show that code that populates that data grid. If I can find it. It's just using GetNet adapter. Yeah, there it is right there. So we're making an array where, why is that say connection test or something? I don't know why I was trying to do that. Anyway, we're adding the results of the GetNet adapter as a range to the array. And then that's got all of its column names already anyway. And then you're setting the net adapter data grid to this data source, which is the array. Then you issue a refresh on the data grid. So there's got to be a ton of different things, like use cases for this. I don't know, to quickly be able to see information. I think I mentioned earlier, looking at locked out users. You know, that seems like a good one. If you're hunting for MAC addresses, you can start doing things like, I need to find an iPhone that checked in someplace if you know the manufacturer MAC for that, or whatever. Chasing down. I mean, I've heard. I think Chris, you talked about that before, hunting down devices with DHCP leases, stolen devices.
We had to use PowerShell to hunt down the specific MAC addresses to see which district it was popping up in, because we knew the student was in our career center, but we didn't know what LEA they went to, and so we were trying to monitor that, and they were extorting us for Bitcoin. They were doing DDoS attacks against us and stuff. We were able to track them down using PowerShell and identifying where they were at.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's tons of cool stuff like that. I mean, you figure what you're capable of with PowerShell, and then putting together these tools. I think it's pretty sweet. So I'm going to call it. See if anybody has any questions. And let's just go to the end. Be my friend on Duolingo. My Duolingo link is there. I'll post the PowerPoint for that. I've also started working on a newsletter for PowerShell too. That's 100% free. The Twitter community for config managers, system admins. Go get on Twitter, find these people, other people here. There's lots of cool stuff on Twitter. Probably the only good thing about Twitter is the sysadmin community. So anyway, LinkedIn too. We're a Thai social network. So any questions?
Where are you posting the PowerPoint?
I will put them on the Shed or Sked, whatever website for the event. I was editing them like this morning, so that's the reason they're not there yet. But yeah, I will get those up by tomorrow. So yeah. Sweet. Where are we at on time?